My name is Scott Christopher Schumann, and I would really like to do this video. They're testing me in dreams. I don't know if this is coming from God, the Holy Spirit, or if this is something like CERN or Deep Dream or Blue Beam. But I'm being tested in dreams with fights, and I think it's actually occurring. And they're testing me based on performance. I've performed some, but then I think when I'm really tested, like on the ultimate test, like the one that really counts the most, I don't perform. Two reasons for that. Number one, I don't agree with this type of testing. It discourages you greatly. You don't have the same type of encouragement. That's what I'm going to say first, but it doesn't weigh the most. What weighs the most is my heart went out about a year and 3 months before the testing, and it was real. I haven't been able to do push-ups since then, and I keep my body in shape via isometrics that I do mostly standing, or if I have to get in a position. That's just what the reality of it. So I lack confidence, and when you lack confidence, it's harder to perform at certain times. Kind of. I also don't agree with how they're doing it, because if there's times where you're winning it, then you're performing because you're turning that tide. And these are things that aren't written into their the game, so they don't really consider those the same. It's not just performance and fighting. They're using different people at different times in different scenarios, and you have to perform. So it's almost like a maze plus fighting. I don't agree with the maze part, because if you turn the tide, then that's a big enough victory that you deserve credit for performance. But they're not saying I performed, because that wasn't specifically a performance fight. Okay, so I hope that made it clear. I disagree. If you turn the tide, then you performed, because you had to, that's a performance. But like I said, they can word it or run their game however they want to run their game, their maze. But yeah, I've turned the tide more than once. So that's definitely performing. And so you see shades of something. Maybe if I were younger, I could have performed. Before my heart went out, because my heart went out a year and 3 months, I couldn't do push-ups. So maybe when I were younger, because maybe you could see a little shades here. Well, I have news for you. I did perform when I was younger. In 2017, before this occurred, when I was talking crap online, I performed. I got in a fight in a dream, and I performed. And it was a real performance. I killed the man in 3 seconds with a jumping rear naked choke. He weighed 330 pounds. I think I weighed 230. So he had a 100-pound advantage on me. He looked Greek, Irish, or Greek Italian, something like that. He was dark, pretty big guy. And there was a table in between us. So the position was difficult, and I still landed the jumping rear naked choke and killed him in 3 seconds. Okay, this occurred. And let me tell you something, when Jesus gave me the test, I knew it was a prophetic dream. I knew that I was suffering in the dream, and I didn't want to be in the dream. The fight didn't break out till the end. And this is the most important part. I had no desire to fight in the dream, in terms of an actual fight or an actual test. I didn't want to be in the dream. God was kind of exposing me, and I wanted to get out of the dream. And so when things got bad enough, I asked God to wake me up. I'm like, wake me up. I don't want anything else to occur. I don't want to be accountable. This is not fair to me. I don't even like this dream, because I kind of knew what God was saying to me. I'm like, I don't like it. Sure enough, right around the time that happens, 5 men walk up to me, and one picks a fight with me. And it wasn't my fault. I didn't want to have anything to do with it. And in self-defense, I defended myself, and I killed him in 3 seconds. And there was a table in between us. All right. I'm telling you, I'm the one fighting in Deep Dream, CERN, or Blue Beam, whatever. I'm the one. Okay? I have not seen a performance that amounts to my performance in 2017. I haven't seen even a third of it. So if these are the performances you have, then good luck. Because what Jesus intended for whatever is going to be used for good. This dream is my safe haven. It's my millennial reign. It's my reward. This dream is the one. Because there's more. I'm just scratching the surface. When you're talking that much shit online, you're talking that much crap, and you're pissed off. And then Jesus gives you a dream and you're begging him to get out of it because you don't want to be accountable. And a fight breaks out and you pull off a fighting exploit in that dream. And it was legit, just like these CERN, Blue Beam, or Deep Dream are legit, this was legit too. Then that occurred. And that doesn't go back in the bottle, ever. This is what, at the height of me talking crap, this is the height of me pissed off, this is the height of me hardening myself against whatever. And this is when the fight broke out in a CERN, Deep Dream, Blue Beam, and I performed better than anything I've seen in these Deep Dream, Blue Beam, or CERN. Better than anything. Okay? So this is something that's established, that's never going to go away. It's never going to go back in. Okay, I performed. And it's going to make a lot of people pissed off because no one knows about it and it's been hidden. But let me tell you what happened after I performed. And then we'll get into the rest of it. After I performed, I got the knowing that it's not over. Not the fight. The fight was definitely over. I killed him. But I found myself about 20 feet away from the man. And I saw this woman walk through these doors. And she looked at me like she didn't know if she wanted to deal with me or this or that. But then I saw a certain type of weird haste in her. And I think this was Jesus Christ. I think this was the Lord Jesus Christ. I saw a certain type of haste in her. And she came up to me and she crushed my sternum. Let me explain something to you. There's Jesus Christ judging us. And then there's everything else. When Jesus judged me, I saw a certain butthurtness in him and a certain pissed offness in him and something that's not just, something that's not righteous. I'm telling you, what judged me in that dream, crushing my sternum, wasn't just judgment. There was stuff there that shouldn't be there. Jesus was butthurt. Jesus was pissed at me. Jesus was probably upset I performed. He probably didn't want me to perform. You know, just like a lot of people have talked crap about me since Full Gospel Tabernacle 2000, a lot of people have talked crap about me. Jesus could have talked crap about me. In fact, I've seen some indications Jesus absolutely could have talked crap about me. So in 2017, a fight breaks out and I perform wondrously. I perform awesomely. I perform magnificently. And now he judges me by crushing my sternum. But I don't just see a righteous judgment there. I see a hypocritical judgment. I see a butthurt judgment. Because a lot of people called me out for being a coward. And believe me, nothing in that dream points to a coward. And that was a real test. Just like Blue Beam, Deep Dream, and CERN for Wayne is a real test. It was a real test for me too. Okay? And it doesn't go back in. And Jesus was probably pissed off he allowed the dream to happen. Because he probably didn't want that known. So there's a lot. Jesus was probably pissed off at himself. And he crushed my sternum because of it. He should have broken my arm. Not crush my sternum. Crushing my sternum took me completely out. You can't really recover or cover up from what he does to you. A crushed sternum is like having two broken arms. It's almost the same. It's maybe a little bit less, but not by much. Not by much. You can't find the energy to perform or to be strong or to do this. Like you can hold your body a certain way and lift. That's the thing about a crushed sternum. You can lift. But you can't really perform, you know, like on heavy bags or something. Like you can't, not with a crushed sternum. I don't even think you could ski with a crushed sternum. Okay, there's certain things you just can't do with it. Had he broke my arm, I could have recovered in 6 weeks and still fought. But he decided to crush my sternum, which took me out forever. It basically, essentially took me out. So I was at maybe like 30%, if that. It's not enough. If you get your arm broken, you could fix it and be at 100% in 2 years, easily. You could be at like 80, 90% in like 6 months. So, you know, it's not really the same. It's not really the same. Why did Jesus crush my sternum? Why did he destroy my sternum after I performed in a fight I didn't want to be in? He could say it's your attitude, you got in the fight because your attitude, but I didn't want a fight to break out in that dream. And I performed an exploit, a fighting exploit. So I performed when I was talking crap. And it doesn't look, and it hurts Jesus' cause against me. And then him crushing my sternum and putting me in no man's land hurts his cause against me because I don't think it was warranted. I don't think he should have crushed my sternum. He should have broke my arm or left me alone. And if I get in a fight in a gym, maybe it needs to occur. maybe it needs to happen. Because this whole CERN Deep Dream Blue Beam thing has been the worst thing that's ever happened to me times 10. And I don't think I deserve this, especially since I performed when I fought in 2017. If people knew I performed that well, they probably would have backed off. Not all of them, but probably 70-80% would have backed off. When you talk that much crap and you perform, people don't care the same. Jesus hid that. He should have let me publish a dream. So there's a lot of little factors that go into this that I don't like. That I don't like at all. Just so you know, straight from the top, I would have much rather fought in the gym in 2017. Even if I went to jail, it would have been better for me. It would have been much, much better for me. I don't think it would have happened. People saying, "Oh, Scott would have just decked some loser, who came in there, was acting weird." It wouldn't have been like that. It would have had to have been a serious threat. It would have had to have been a serious threat, and I would have probably been at least 45% justified. Okay, and if I'm 45% justified, I'm not pissed off. Stuff happens. You just gotta. That's just life. It probably would have been a fight that needed to occur. Probably with someone who was pissed off at me at the time. Okay, so that's probably what would have gone down. That would have been better for me. Since I performed in the dream exploit, the chances are I perform in the gym, at least enough to save face. Everybody was calling me a coward anyway, so at least enough to save face. Because by waiting for CERN Deep Dream Blue Beam in 2025 and 2026, my heart went out a year and 3 months before. I couldn't even do push-ups. It became hard to self-motivate, even though I repented in 2021. That didn't factor in one way or the other, because it just didn't. But my heart was pretty much clean, which kind of helped me a little bit. But because I'm being judged for that sin, it kind of there's a blowback there. Because I repented and I can't really publish it or come clean. So it's the game there just took over so many percentages right there. So long story short, and I was winning at times. There's times I turned the tide and I won, even in certain Deep Dream or Blue Beam. Okay, I won my some fights that were really important. I won a first fight that was hugely important. Okay, and I always will be. So there's a lot of good things in it for me. If you see that my heart went out and that I couldn't even do a push-up and I hadn't talked crap for 7 years. And then when you think about the fact I performed in 2017, in the height of me talking crap, and my performance was better than anything I've seen in CERN, Deep Dream or Blue Beam, then you have to give credence to the fact that I did perform. I just did. You didn't see it, you didn't know about it. The guy who performed in 2017 gets points for performing. Sorry, it's never going to work out the other way. I know you guys want to bury me over CERN, Deep Dream, and Blue Beam and say I have a 3% or whatever, but it's never going to work out that way. I performed in 2017. That's 50% right there. And since it's the greatest fight that I've seen, it might be as high as 65 or 70. And you saw shades of that when I performed in Deep Dream, Blue Beam, and CERN. You saw shades of it. Okay? And that's the guy who kicked ass in 2017. So you can't say I didn't perform, because at the height of me talking crap, I did perform, and I performed better than I saw you guys perform. Okay? And then you add my heart going out to it, the fact that there's times I turned the tide, I did win some big fights, and you saw shades of it. It's all the way up to 75%. That's a performance. So I'm just being quiet right now because I'm trying to really consider my words. Talking crap online from 2015 to 2019 got me in so much trouble. I mean, it basically destroyed everything. I do thank God for 2017 and that dream, because it's going to save my hide ultimately. If you have a clean conscience, then that matters a lot. And I know what I did in 2017 when I was talking crap. So my conscience is clean, and I know how affected I was by my heart going out and not being able to do push-ups, and Jesus crushing my sternum because he was butthurt because I performed. I know how much got taken out of me, and I did the best I could in CERN or Deep Dream or Blue Beam. But I've already made those arguments, and I think they're valid. I wasn't supposed to be hitting it out of the park. I would give me 66% there, overall, considering. It's being generous on my side, but that's what I would give me. Is being generous on my side. I don't count it the same way you do, because I turned the tide at least 2 or 3 times. That's huge for me. That's at least 50%. You saw shades of a performance there. You saw it, and my heart going out and me having almost no strength or fatigue, just fatigued all the time, man, I did the best that I could. You know, and then when you add 2017, it can even go up. So for me, it does go up. I mean, if you count them both together, I give myself an 82. Okay, that's what I give myself. But I could see me going as high as 88. But like I said, I would take 75 from people based on this video alone, if they know what's going on, because you got to add both. You got to add in the 2017. And you can't be a hypocrite there. You also have to listen to my reasoning about certain deep dream or blue beam in 2025 and 2026, because I did turn the tide 2 or 3 times, which means I performed. You saw shades of a guy who could perform, and I did in 2017. Plus, my heart went out a year and 3 months before. So when you add those in, did I perform? Is the performance there enough? Plus, my performance in 2017 is greater than anything I've seen in CERN, Deep Dream, or Blue Beam. So that's what pushes it to a 66 to a 75, in my opinion. That's what pushes it, you know? That's what pushes it up. So you could reason this a few different ways. Like I said, 2017 is not going anywhere. And because that's when I was talking, there shouldn't be so much shame over me not performing 7 years after I stopped talking, and after my heart went out, and after I repented, especially when I performed when I was talking.